Show me.
I'm the Martial Arts Film Freak, and I watched Accident Man, Hitman's Holiday.
It would seem that the CEO has put out a contract on my son, Dante. I need you to protect my son at all costs. Do you understand?
And there's a gaggle of assassins about to turn up. Kill every last one of you.
So you better get your skates on. There's a proper game on.
Accident Man 2 Hitman's Holiday is a 2022 action film directed by George and Harry Kirby, starring Scott Adkins, Sarah Chang, Andy Nguyen, Ray Stevenson, Perry Benson, so many more people, Flaminia Cinque, George... European names are so much harder than Asian names. Furacres? I don't know how to say that at all. Among several other people. Mike Fallon returns from the first Accident Man film, this time just trying to have a nice little vacation in the Mediterranean, taking on some assassination jobs where he can, hanging out with his friend, played by Perry Benson. His friend's character's name is, of course, Finicky Fred. They always love those colorful names in these movies. The two are just hanging out, have a good time, just making contraptions and traps to kill people with. And then, of course, a local mafiosa, a mob boss, her son has a huge hit put on him, and she recruits Mike Fallon to protect her son and says, keep him alive or I'm going to kill your friend here. And so he has to keep him alive from several other assassins. Accident Man 2 is a fairly simple film, nothing crazy about the plot. It simply exists to funnel in some good fight scenes. However, while the story is simple, the highlights of the technical aspects of the film are highlighted in the dialogue. Much like the first film, this one was written by Scott Adkins and his friend Stu Smalls. I believe it's Stu Smalls or just Stu Small. I apologize if I'm wrong on one of those two names there. But the two are very good with their dialogue. It is surprising, coming from Scott Adkins, someone who we've only ever seen on screen, but it turns out him alongside his friend Stu Smalls are very good writers. The dialogue is very funny, and everyone's delivery is fantastic. Sarah Chang shines several times throughout the film, and the best parts of the dialogue come between Scott Adkins and Perry Benson's back and forths. At some points, they just have such good chemistry that it feels so organic, and it feels almost as if certain lines were improvised. Which, even if lines weren't improvised, that feeling of being so genuine and so just in with one another that it feels improvised is just really important. They were very entertaining, and it's crazy that we're used to seeing Scott Adkins play this angry Russian or a stoic ninja or, some sort of angry badass character, straightforward, I'm a badass guy. When he's genuinely very good at comedy. He's very good at being somewhat of an everyman, somewhat of an underdog, but he's also going to kick your ass. He'll make you laugh, he'll be very convincing, and he'll hit you with a Guyver kick. While the dialogue is very good, it's very fun, it's very entertaining, very funny, a lot of the visual gags did not work for me. Especially any involving the son, the mob boss's son character. They are just excruciating at times. They have a few good lines, the melted Ben Affleck line is good, but there's being despicable because that's your character, and then there is something that they call in the wrestling world going away heat. It's good to have heat, it's good to get the crowd booing you because you're the bad guy, but sometimes there's those people that just have go away heat. They're getting booed so much, not because they're really good at being a bad guy, but because, oh my god, we want you to go away, you're so horrible, you're annoying, you're bad at whatever, you're just awful, and we want you to go away. And that is how I felt with the son character. Oh my god, go away. A handful of CGI in the film is quite wonky, kind of a Sci-Fi Channel awkward. Specifically, I guess, a lot of the blood splatters at certain times. There is a fun practical blood splatter that's very 70s kung fu movie, but any digital blood splatter, it's a bit much. It doesn't look great. And there's one scene where maybe I was looking for it, but like they're standing over like broken concrete, and just you can tell that all that concrete was very CGI, and once you see it, you really can't look away from it. But we look past those things because this is a low budget action film with very good practical martial arts. So let's get into that martial arts. Let's transition into the action here, which was quite a bit of fun most of the time. The action feels significantly different from the first film. Over most of Scott Adkins' career, or a good handful of it throughout the 2010s, he partnered up with Tim Mann, who was his choreographer for many of his films. They worked very well together. They kind of have a signature style. This time, Tim Mann stepped away. They brought in Andy Nguyen, who is fantastic. I love his work in Sanak and that movie on Amazon Prime that I'm blanking on the name right now, mostly because I'm only thinking of the Thai name that I can't pronounce. But it is a very different, much, faster style than what Tim Mann did, which is crazy because Tim Mann's style is very, very fast, and Andy Nguyen's is just somewhat more kinetic. So it's different, and if you're not used to that, it's just a transition. It's you got to get, I don't know, it's not that something you really have to get used to, but, if you pay attention to fight choreography enough, you do see the differences. That being said, I kind of struggled with some of the action here. While the choreography is great, Andy Nguyen is fantastic. This was choreographed by him and Scott Adkins and some help from the Kirbys. It's great. The fight choreography is brilliant, of course. But where I found difficulty with is some of the editing and camera movement and camera choices. It's not that it's choppy. There's no like fast cut editing, or at least there's very minimal of it. And when it is there, it's used to enhance a scene or to, it's used well. What I didn't care for most of the fight scenes, and I say most sadly because it was a good handful of them, was you're very in there with the camera. You're part of the fight scene, which I don't really care to be often. It tries to do like a lot of mini one-shots. Like you'll get like a good 10 to 15 second long shot, and it's very involved in the choreography. It's moving in and out of it. It's going around it. And I don't really need that. I understand it. And for some people, it's probably really going to be their cup of tea, and they're going to give something like that a 5 out of 5. Amazing, I freaking loved it, and that's just not me. I was really struggling with scenes like that. I understood them. I could see them. I appreciated that I could still see what was going on in the action. This isn't like something like an Alex Cross or something where you have no idea what's happening. No, you fully understand what's going on in the fight scene. It really is just, is that your cup of tea? Do you like being in the action? I really just need choreography to do its own thing, the choreography to be part of the spectacle, and to take a step back and watch that choreography. And one of the best scenes for me where that happened was a scene where Scott Adkins got to do pole versus axe. We got Scott Adkins with a pole, and what I appreciate about that a lot also is I feel like we don't really see that. We don't see Scott Adkins take up weapons like that too often. Of course, he has a background in Taekwondo, so I don't know how much involved, what his knowledge is with a staff, but he does some fantastic stuff with it. The axe versus pole fight is fantastic. I feel like the last time we probably saw him do anything like that was maybe the first Ninja back in like 2009. But that fight scene really just took a step back and let the choreography do the work, and I really appreciated it. That was the first fight scene where I truly was into the fight scene. I adored it. I really did like it. Sadly, that fight scene came about an hour into the movie for me. Sarah Chang has a few spurts of action with Scott Adkins as sort of just this motivational stress relief for him. She'll randomly pop up to get a few punches in with him before leaving, and all of those moments are a lot of fun. I just wish that her one big actual fight scene with like a bad guy was a bit longer. It ran a bit short for me. It kept cutting away to certain things. I just wanted that fight scene to be more. Her kung fu, of course, is wonderful. Sadly, in the final bits of action, it felt like the movie was really trying to wrap up fast. We get 3 big fight scenes in the, I guess you would say it is the finale. And one of those fights I really wanted to be longer. And they're all good. All 3 of those fights are genuinely very, very good. I really like the story being told in the clown fight scene, because the clown has whatever the disease is, I can't remember, where you don't feel pain. So that's this whole story being told, is making the clown feel pain. although I think you should probably just pick up something sharp and stab him to kill him faster. But one of the fight scenes, you want it to be amazing. You want it to... And matter of fact, no, it is amazing. It's a very good fight scene. What you want from it, because it is so good, is you want a satisfying ending. And sadly, that fight scene for me did not have a satisfying ending because it is abruptly ended when somebody is shot by somebody off screen. That's just, it's disappointing. And I'm not saying you can't end a fight scene with someone getting shot. I think a really good example of that is Scott Adkins versus Kung Lee in Savage Dog. I really appreciate the ending of that fight scene. But it's like if you were watching the final fight scene of The Raid, Mad Dog versus the Brothers, and then while Mad Dog is choking Rama, instead of getting stabbed in the neck with the bulb, he gets shot by somebody off screen. That's not satisfying. So I did not feel very satisfied with the main final fight for me. One of the main final fights. It just... I don't appreciate that ending, and I needed something far more satisfying. Everything during the fight, the choreography and all of it, was glorious. But because it was glorious, I felt let down when it didn't have a proper ending. Wrapping it up, despite those negative things that I did say about Accident Man 2 Hitman's Holiday, I did enjoy myself. It is a good Scott Adkins movie. Of course, it is a good martial arts action film, and maybe one of the best of the year, but it's also a year where we maybe haven't had that many. I'm going to have to reassess and look back and at the year, because I can't really think of too many that we've had. I'm going to have to do that at some point. But I did enjoy this. I did like Accident Man 2 Hitman's Holiday. I'm going to give Accident Man Hitman's Holiday 3.5 calculator watches out of 5. You will understand what I'm talking about when you see the movie, and you will also be very grossed out. But tell me your thoughts on Accident Man 2 Hitman's Holiday. Is this one of your most anticipated films, martial arts films of the year? I mean, you can throw it in there with all of the films. Why not? Is it one of your favorites of the year so far, if you have seen it? Tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Head over to Facebook, where there is the Martial Arts Film Freak Facebook page, Instagram, Martial Arts Film Freak, Tristan_Glover on the Twitter, and Martial Arts Film Freak on TikTok. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.